are finally past 2020 and now into 2021. Even though they're probably going to be pretty similar, it just kind of feels good to be past that pretty much terrible, horrible, awful year. I don't know about you guys, but 2020 was pretty much the absolute worst year of my life. The job loss, isolation, all of that stuff that we are all going through definitely fell pretty hard on me. And one thing I will say about 2020 is just because a pandemic came, it didn't mean that any of your own personal problems stopped. I thought a lot about what I was going to say in this video. Was I going to be pretty gloomy about everything, or was I going to be positive? Probably a little bit of both. 2020 absolutely kicked my ass, but I do definitely see all the positivity and looking forward to the future, and that this is a year, or was a year for a lot of mistakes and growth. Basically for 2021, because obviously work is still down, travel is still down, all of that stuff is still not possible, I'm taking some pressure off of myself and basically just going to focus on growing my photography craft and growing my YouTube channel. So I don't know about you guys, but when I lost all my work, I immediately felt this sense of pressure that I had to like jump into action and figure out what I was going to do for income. So with the photography world, for me, I work in tourism and I need international travel and I need big groups because I shoot a lot of weddings. So both of those are completely gone. I tried very, very hard to kind of adjust to this and figure out new ways of how to make income, and I don't know, I think I really got down about this because I just put this big weight on myself, and I just don't think I realized that, you know what, I lost my work. Just breathe, relax, don't try and, weddings will come back, travel is going to come back. If you don't succeed at selling prints this year or other avenues of income for photography, then it's okay. Just give yourself a little bit of a break. And then I just keep thinking, you know, I've been working pretty much full time since I was 14, 15 years old. If I need to have like a year or say a year and a half where I don't have a lot of stuff going on, that is all right. It can happen. I know that many of us are going through it, and I definitely need to take that pressure off of myself and just focus on improving my photography and YouTube. I actually want to show you how I'm going to create a portrait. It will be the thumbnail of this video actually, so we're going to create that today. I'm going to take you guys along and step by step show you how I do it. I did get one question on Instagram. Someone asked me if I pre-plan setting up my shots. So yes and no. Portraits, usually, yeah, there's an idea behind it. How I go about creating my portraits, I love creative portrait work, so things about what I'm going to show you, I love doing stuff like this. So the first thing that I do is I get inspired. So I'll spend some time on Instagram, Facebook, wherever else, 500, various websites, and just getting ideas and seeing what other people create and then putting my own spin on it. So after I am inspired and feeling motivated and excited to go out and create this image, I then start planning the outfit choice. So the one nice thing about this is I don't have to wear a dress in cold weather. I get to wear a jacket and be nice and toasty warm. So for my base, I just wear a simple plain black jacket. You don't really want anything modern. I'm not sure if that makes any sense. You kind of want to keep it really nice and neutral. And the more old-fashioned it looks, the better it's going to come out in the final product. It's just going to have a way better feel to it. The next thing, after I have my jacket all sorted out, I need to think about what I'm going to put on top of my head and what I'm going to wear on my hands, because I'm going to be holding a lantern, so you're going to see my hands. So I went shopping and I got a couple of scarves. I spent like $15, and I'm going to play around with a few different scarves. One that I want to really use actually is this sort of pink. It's a really light dusty rose pink one, and it has a nice like checkered pattern in it. I'm going to try and use this one, and I hope that it works out. It's really, really nice. I like this scarf. And then I'm going to pair it with mittens. So I'm not going to use gloves, because gloves, obviously, you can see the fingers. A mitt has a much better look in images. It really gives it sort of that old feeling to it, having a classic mitt. So I don't like mitts for practical use, but for images, I think that they look a lot better. So I just got a neutral dark gray one. And then I do have a few other scarves that I might try, of course I got yellow. I really love this one. I actually wear this all the time now. So I have this yellow scarf because this pops greatly against the snow. And then I might even wear a toque or something, but I do plan on putting the scarf over my head and then having the snow fall all over me. The lantern for the light, when I sold my house in August, in my shop there was a really old lantern that I had no idea was there. And old lanterns are actually pretty expensive to buy and find, so I lucked out with that. I obviously took that with me, and I do have it. It's a gas lantern. I'm not sure what you actually put in it, but it still smells like gas. Is it oil or is it gas? Anyways, it still has that smell, so I do have to keep it outside. I can't bring it indoors. It pops off, and then the glass little cylinder, what I do with that, instead of lighting a flame and probably injuring myself, is I stuff it full of little twinkly fairy lights that I get at the dollar store. They're about $1.50, $2 each, very inexpensive. I get a couple strands of them because you definitely want to stuff it full as many lights as possible. It will give it much more of a better glow, and they just work really great. So the darker your scene is that you're photographing, the more your light in your lantern is going to stand out. It's snowing today. It's kind of been on and off snowing. That's what we're going to create. So I am going to wait a few hours until it gets closer to sunset, because that is the time that I want to create this image. And I'm going to go out and start shooting, and I'm going to bring you guys along. I have made it outside. I've picked the spot that I'm going to shoot this portrait. I'm kind of up the mountain a little bit on, I don't know, it's this really narrow little trail. There's no one around. It was really, really nice. I really enjoyed the silence. I was actually walking ollie up, there's a logging road that's nearby. I was actually walking ollie up the logging road a few days ago, and there's big signs out saying that there was active traps and snaring going on. So I'm trying to stay kind of on the trail. And I don't take Ollie on this one anymore because I'm too afraid if he goes off in the forest that he's gonna end up finding a trap, and we don't want another hurt Ollie again for 2021. It's still a little bit too light out. I might be able to pull off the shot now and just kind of lower the exposure to really give off that glow of the lantern, but I think I might wait just a little bit longer. So what I will do in the meantime is I'll play around with the composition and make sure that I like that and have that all set up, because once it gets too dark, if you don't really do this quickly, then it's just downhill from there, and you're probably going to end up missing the shot because it will be pitch black eventually. The snow also helps give a little bit more light. Obviously it's white and it reflects everything. Probably makes me look a lot more pale than I usually am, and I'm a pretty pale person. We're going to wear this scarf. One thing that I forgot to mention earlier about creating these images with the snow, so you can either do this without it snowing or you can do it when it's snowing, because it's actually incredibly easy to add in fake snow. The only thing that you can't add, where I find that you can't add, is the effect of like the snow on the clothing, or like as you can see it on my hair, and that really adds to the image. So I have the lighter colored scarf on right now, and that probably won't show the snowflakes as well. Maybe if it's a little bit darker it will, but I also find that that makes the image just pop, is when it really is actually snowing, and it looks really, really good when it's on your clothing and you're kind of dusted in a layer of snow. Oh, I think that I have a pretty good composition figured out. I just kind of have to adjust my height with it, like even with this tripod. I'm also on a slant, so kind of not even on even ground, but other than that, it's gonna work out pretty good. So I'm gonna shoot this at f2.8. I'm gonna adjust my ISO as I go and just see what works, see what doesn't work. If I stay, I could probably have a little bit of a slower shutter speed, get away with a slower shutter speed, as long as I don't really move. So I will stay If I have a slower shutter speed, I'll just stay as still as possible. I'm not really going to adjust my aperture. I like 2.8. I like the amount of background blur that it gives. Still gives a little bit of feeling that you can see there's trees, but it's not totally obliterated if you were to shoot at, say, 1.2 or 1.4. It's pretty much dark enough now to take this image, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the lantern going, take off my toque, fix my outfit, and then I'm going to get shooting. This is what it looks like when it has all the lights in it. I love it. I think it looks so cute. It's so glowy and dreamy and so, I don't know, it's probably so girly. Anyways, I hope that you guys really enjoy the behind the scenes of making this shot. I love doing creative images like this. Got my gloves on, my hair is really messy, and then I'm just going to flip the scarf over my head and we will see how this turns out. I kind of wish that I brought a second scarf just in case the color of this one doesn't really work, but I didn't, so we're gonna have to make it work. If worst comes to worst, I'll put back on the yellow toque and just do it that way. Kind of what I was wearing before with the scarf wrapped around here and then the toque. Really hard to keep everything all on and in good so it doesn't keep falling off, and the gloves and the phone. Doing these portraits is honestly full on. It's a lot of work. It's much easier if you're shooting someone else rather than shooting yourself, I will say. Here is the final image that I ended up creating. It may look a little different than what I was showing you, what I was shooting. The scarf is different. I'm wearing a toque. That's because it is different. And I ended up shooting this the following morning because I got a little bit frustrated at how wet everything was, the snow, it was getting too dark, and I could not for the life of me make the scarf on top, the pink scarf on top of my head really work out for that one image. So I took a breather, took a little bit of a break, and revisited making this image the next day. A few of the changes that happened here are obviously the clothing choices. I ended up going with the toque and my darker brown scarf because the pink one, it just wasn't working. I might revisit it and may try it again if it's not snowing and it's not too wet, I'll do this. But basically what I did for this one, because it wasn't snowing in the morning, was I added the fake snow in, and then to get the effect of having like the snow on my hair or on my scarf and my toque, was I just tossed a little bit of it in the air because it is pretty fluffy right now, so it was nice and it spread all over me. But I'm pretty happy with how this one turned out. I may have spent a little bit more time with the background or maybe the composition for that, but you could probably do this shot basically anywhere because the background's going to be a little bit blurry anyways. So as long as it has the effect of like snow and trees, then I think it looks really nice. So because I did this in the morning, what was happening was obviously it was just getting lighter and lighter. So I didn't have the same sort of intense glow from the lantern as I wanted to. If it's dark enough, then you can see the light of the lantern, the glow of the lantern, you can see it paint the face and the clothing, but it wasn't really dark enough to be able to do this, so I had to kind of really balance out the contrast here and play around with it so you could tell that I had the nice glow of the lantern. But I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I like the looking up pose. This way it saves from having to look at the camera and have a sort of flattering face. And I'm pretty happy with how this image turned out. Not really any complaints. I'm looking forward to creating many more like this. And I really hope that this video gave you a little bit of inspiration to go out and create your own with some sort of artificial light. So, as always, I want to share a few images that I have basically taken within the last week. I even threw in one of my nephews at Christmas because they're just too cute. It was fun to dress them up. You'll see that shortly. Thank you all for your support in 2020. We're now in a new year. Definitely continuing to grow YouTube. Please give this video a thumbs up. You know that it helps push videos through the algorithm, and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you guys again next week. Bye!